Yes, thank you, Dario, for your very comprehensive presentation. It was very interesting. I'm very sorry that I thought of having had to interrupt you in between saying, well, look on your watch, but you are exactly in time. Thank you very much. So there is some time for questions to Dario. So if you have some questions concerning his lecture, ask Dario, and he will be happy to answer it. Okay, there's one question. Can you please say who you are?
I'm Paola, and despite of my my age, I am a student, and my thesis is about Museum for Disability, Cognitive and Relationship Disability. It's better I speak in Italian? No, allora parlo in italiano, ma no, pensavo, ok, scusate. Dunque, riguardo al linguaggio, all'esempio per esempio della brocca, no? Si può anche definire. Allora, io ho un figlio appunto con disabilità cognitiva relazionale e una delle difficoltà maggiori è proprio la lingua. Allora, persone che hanno questo tipo di disabilità possono non parlare, non utilizzare per esempio il linguaggio, l'aumentativa, quindi le schede, insomma ci sono vari tipi. Ecco. I musei spesso, al di là del fatto che non prevedono, cioè la traduzione magari in inglese, va bene, in Italia spesso non abbiamo neanche quella, ma sarebbe bello che per esempio l'ICOM e in qualche modo anche questo progetto, quindi piccoli musei, si potessero mettere in rete anche banalmente, senza doverle stampare, dare come degli input, dei consigli a chi vive questo tipo di disabilità, quindi le storie sociali, delle schede che uno si può stampare a casa. Però il problema è magari crearla questa rete, esiste, si può fare, rispetto anche all'esperienza.
Per fortuna abbiamo un anchorman atletico che fa un sacco di chilometri. Allora, esistono molte reti su progetti specifici, esistono poche reti a livello nazionale ed internazionale sulle varie esperienze. Il lavoro che noi dobbiamo fare di volta in volta è quello di costruire queste reti, o meglio, mettere in relazione tutti quelli che si occupano, quante più persone possibili si occupano di accessibilità. Il linguaggio è il problema più grande, perché noi dobbiamo fare uno sforzo mentale enorme per tradurre dall'archeologese il nostro dialetto di professionisti in italiano e dall'italiano in un linguaggio comprensibile. È non solo importante, è necessario per ampliare le nostre possibilità di accessibilità. Le reti vanno costruite, si devono costruire anche su piccoli progetti ed è un invito che rivolgo a te perché so chi sei, ma a tutte le persone che lavorano in questo campo, quello di costruire anche delle micro reti di scambio, perché chi fa un'esperienza e rimane da solo sarà l'esperienza più bella del mondo, ma non funziona, o meglio, funziona per 6 persone, non getta semi. Quello che noi dobbiamo fare, e ripeto come ho detto fin dall'inizio, noi non abbiamo soluzioni in tasca e non dobbiamo avere soluzioni in tasca, dobbiamo avere progetti completamente aperti. Dico sempre che sappiamo, ogni progetto che iniziamo, io so dove inizio, faccio delle proposte, vediamo cosa succederà e va rimodulato di volta in volta, facendo diventare pazzi tutti quelli che devono fare i conteggi. Ma è necessario che sia così, deve essere aperto. In questi progetti noi dobbiamo costantemente cercare di lavorare con persone che hanno già fatto questa esperienza e con persone che vorranno farla. È un invito che rivolgo non ai 14 partner che già lo fanno, ma a tutti gli altri, a tutti noi ovviamente.
Okay, thank you, Dario. Okay, well, and thank you for your question. There will be enough time at the end of the first part of the conference, so before we have lunch break, so at 12:30 or so, we have more than 30 minutes for a general discussion, and what we are also going to do is to present the first results of our project. So this is also dissemination, as they call it in the EU. So we really have to talk about what we've done, and this will be the last presentation about the first results. So I'm now wondering whether Linda Meersen is in the room. I'm afraid she isn't, but she is in Udine, I was told. Maybe she is still on her way, but we already talked to Bojana Škafar from the Museum of from the Slovene Ethnographic Museum in Ljubljana. Bojana, we invited her to give a presentation on the experiences from her museum, because they are already on the way, and they've done some interesting things. So the subject of her presentation is accessibility of cultural heritage to vulnerable groups, a project led by the Slovene Ethnographic Museum Ljubljana, and this has been taken out between 2013 and 2015. So you already have some experience with it, and so I'm very much looking forward to your presentation. And another thing is about satisfaction. You will find a slide or sheet, a satisfaction survey in your papers. So please fill this in after the conference, of course, because we don't ask about your expectations, we ask about your satisfaction. So, but at the end of the conference, please leave this sheet filled out with us. But now, Bojana, it's your turn.
Buongiorno a tutti, good morning, guten Morgen, dobro jutro to everybody here in the audience. I have to say thank you very much to the organizers. Maybe, yes. Is it okay? Okay. Once again, I would like to thank to organizers of this conference for inviting me, and especially to Franco Juri from Pirano Museum for spreading the information about our project to a broader audience. The big project that was led by our museum had the title Accessibility of Cultural Heritage to Vulnerable Groups. And here you see the logo of the project we developed especially for it. And on down you can see all the logos of the institutions that participated this project. The leading partner was Slovene Ethnographic Museum from Ljubljana, Slovenia. This is a National Ethnological Museum, and our partners were 5 national museums and gallery. National Museum of Slovenia, Natural History Museum of Slovenia, National Museum of Contemporary History, Slovene Theatre Institute, Technical Museum of Slovenia, and National Gallery. And as you see, the project was funded by the European Union through the European Social Fund, 85%, and by the Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Slovenia, 15%. You can also see the operation period here, and its budget. It was nearly 1 million euros. Goals of the project. It's important, in the previous presentation, we heard a lot of data about accessibility from the technical point of view, from the inclusion point of view, and so on. But here, this project, the contacts of the project were included in the 2007-2013 operational program for human resources development. and were formed and implemented on the basis of its equal opportunities and reinforcing social inclusion development priority, which primarily aims at raising employability of vulnerable social groups in culture. So this was a really great challenge for us, how to handle this priority really, because we are not specialists for employment issues, but here it was exactly this point was the key point of our project. So these goals, as you see, were attaining socio-economic objectives of strengthening human capital, creating 10 jobs for persons belonging to vulnerable groups, with high unemployment rates according to the principle of non-discrimination, very important, increasing their employment opportunities and ensuring their social inclusion. And beside this, improving the efficiency of the public sector. This was this general goal. Measures of the project, that means, so to say, the tasks we had to do within the project. It was inclusion and training of people belonging to different vulnerable social groups. How were defined? These were people with sensory impairment and reduced mobility, immigrants, members of ethnic and national communities, young graduates, that means first job seekers, elderly unemployed people, plus 55, in the field of museum work. And to say the truth, because these people who could be included into our work should have diploma from ethnology, history of art, history, that means the fields within the museum taking part in the project. And so I can say the group of these possible people who could be included in the project were then quite small. And another measures of the project were forming, development and implementing new educational programs, including students belonging to vulnerable social groups, then also qualifications of the museum staff for working with vulnerable social groups. That means also this part was included. And increasing the number of visitors to educational programs and exhibitions in museums and galleries. You can see quite a lot of measures. And beside this, also the technical part of introducing or improving the Slovene Ethnographic Museum technical abilities was demanded. That means provide technical accessibility through induction loop, tactile aids, copies of the museum objects, upgrading website, audio guides, Slovene sign language interpretation of the copies of the museum objects, available on the tablet computers, and also orientation tactile maps in the museum. Also, this information, publicity, and public awareness of the inclusion of vulnerable groups in society was one of important measures to achieve. And then, finally, creating document on integration of vulnerable social groups in the field of cultural heritage, with the emphasis on the museums and galleries. And here I brought with me 3 copies of this final document. If you are interested in them, you can contact me and I can send more copies to you as well. Then, indicators. Very important, of course, for our financiers. You see, we followed this type of indicators. That means jobs, students, new educational programs, new copies of museum objects, number of visitors, and this final study on the accessibility of museums. And if you compare the figures, you can see that we were quite successful in achieving them. I was really glad, especially in this increasing number of visitors that were expected. You see in the plan 2015 from 100 to 3,415, which is quite successful